This episode of Brokerage in Motion is brought to you by Mass Mutual Strategic Distributors.
Hello and welcome to Brokerage in Motion, your one-stop guide for everything happening in independent distribution. I'm Katie Fehlinger. In industry headlines, Hexsure has announced it's acquired Vive, a quote and e-submission platform, in an effort to create a single best-in-class distribution platform for the life and annuity industries. The move builds upon Hexsure's core quoting and e-application capabilities, extending its carrier connectivity and distribution network. Terms of the transaction were not disclosed. In product news, John Hancock announced the launch of its premier benefit indexed universal life individual product in the voluntary benefit employer space. Available through the workplace, the permanent life insurance product offers a fully digital application process, complete portability, income tax-free growth potential, and other features. Meanwhile, in partnership news, Highland Capital Brokerage has formed an alliance with Libra Insurance Partners. According to officials, the new strategic partnership between the distributor and IMO will further expand HBC's resources and capabilities through advanced planning tools and benefits. And joining me now is Ted Harris. He is the Chief Distribution Officer at North American. Ted, thank you so much for joining me.
Hello, Katie. Great to see you again.
Yeah, likewise. So North American coming off 2 record years in a row now in life premium sales. So how has this year gone for North American, and what's the future looking like?
Thank you, Katie. We're having a good year, but not a great year. It's tough to follow up record years. I think we were one of the fastest growing life insurance companies in the country in 21 and 22, and we're kind of leveled off this year. You know, those of your members that know North American, we're primarily an IUL accumulation company with our Builder Plus 3, which gets the majority of our sales. And the challenge in the accumulation IUL space is, the consumer has so many other options with annuities and CDs and other places to put their extra income, their excess cash. And so sales have slowed, I think, industry-wide about double digits. Ours are not quite down as much, but we're approaching a record year again, which we're excited about.
Yeah, and the growth like you have had, it's great, but it can be a challenge to sustain that, as you mentioned. So what's North American doing not only to grow, but also to expand into new areas?
Yeah, so we, in 21 and 22, we were kind of new. We were new to Nailba, as you know, developed a lot of really good relationships, I think, which contributed greatly. In 21 and 22, we had e-app to e-delivery, and we got really, really good in our new business and underwriting. And what that led to is we had an increase in market share. Well, I think we're maintaining that market share today, which is exciting, but we're also expanding in markets with which we play. We have hired a gentleman by the name of Andrew Wren to lead and develop our advanced sales team. And those that don't know Andrew Wren, look him up. He is very well credentialed and very well respected in our industry. And then he, coupled with Chris Regioni, who is our chief underwriter, who is really good at underwriting large cases and in the financial business marketplace. So we're expanding into those areas. In fact, both of those guys will be at Nailba 42, and I think they might have stage time, but I know they will certainly be hanging out at our booth. But beyond that too, next year, we're going to update all of our product line. We're going to get even more competitive in the accumulation IUL. We're going to update our term products and things like that. So we're not sitting back, just resting on our laurels. We are continuing to invest in our company for our MGA partners.
Wonderful. Let's switch gears a bit here. So economic conditions like the ones that we're in right now, can you talk a little bit about employee stock ownership plans? Why do those matter?
Yeah, for those that are relatively new to the Salmons Financial Group, we are an ESOP owned company, which we're owned by the ESOP Trust. And what that means is every single person that you talk to, myself, the marketing team, the new business team, the underwriting team, the product team, the advanced sales team, we all have ownership in Salmons Financial Group and in Salmons Enterprise. You tend to treat your business a little bit differently if you own it. Warren Buffett has a line that when asked why he invests so heavily and takes ownership of the companies rather than investing just a little bit, his line is that, you typically don't wash a rental car. If you own the car, you might take a little bit better care. So what you'll find with North American, our new business and underwriting team works until the job is done. Our marketing and sales team works until it's done. We're always trying to improve because we know the impact it can have not only on the ESOP stock, but the impact on our distributors, which is a big obligation that we have. So I think the ESOP ownership matters more now than ever. Another thing that is maybe a little less visible is that the leaders of our company have over 20 plus years of experience, going from S. Von Dinshaw down to my boss, the president, Jerry Blair. And when you don't have to answer to Wall Street on a quarterly basis, or answer to your venture capital owners, you can have a longer vision. You can look at products and the impact, 1, 3, 5 years down the road rather than the daily stock price. So we think it gives us a little bit longer time horizon to execute on what we put together.
I love it. And, North American, it's not a company that you see advertised on television. So how is it that you are able to compete with these companies that are maybe more of a household name?
The Sammons Financial Group, we are not a household name. I'm not sure that my wife even knows who I work for, as we like to kid at home. But the point is that what we've always done, we're never going to have a Super Bowl ad or sponsor a golf tournament or even have our name on a stadium someplace. That's not what we do. We believe that especially life insurance is not bought, it's sold. So what we've decided to do as a company is to invest in our MGA partners, their marketers, and invest ultimately in the agent to help themselves brand themselves in their community so they can represent us as agents in their community. So we'll continue to invest that way. We'll continue to support those. And what we do, which we take a ton of pride in, is we want to make sure that we're in a financial position to honor the commitments that they make to their friends and families and neighbors and everybody else. So that is our goal, and that's what we do as a company.
Ted Harris, Chief Distribution Officer at North American. Ted, thanks so much for sitting down with us and for the insight.
Thank you, Katie. Great to see you again. Take care.
Likewise. Right now, our IDY segment, where we shine the spotlight on the people in the profession and learn their why. Like many, this Nailba member spent much of his career traveling away from home. And so, he knows the importance of downtime and its impact on his work. Take a look. Craig Klenk loves the great outdoors. An avid fisherman, he and his wife Sandy take the boat out often and have had some impressive catches. But it's the view from the driver's seat of his farm equipment that brings the most joy and relaxation.
I do my best thinking when I'm on a tractor. Being able to decompress like that is so critical, I think, in this industry is you need to find that space.
Wise words from a man who knows. Craig's been in the business for nearly 40 years, from running his family's agency in the 80s and 90s to an eventual merge with 4 other agencies, and then a move to the carrier side when Craig took a job with American National in 2011. What was that like for you, knowing all that you already knew about the BGA side of the industry? I imagine that you brought a unique perspective to the company.
I did, and that's one of the reasons they gave me a call. They needed an outsider, so to speak, to come in.
A culture shock at first.
I was so used to running at that entrepreneurial speed that I had to slow down, take a deep breath.
But as channel leader of brokerage sales, Craig quickly helped identify how American National could grow. And it all came down to the customer.
That customer, whether it's a BGA, whether it's an IMO, FMO, or agent, that customer belongs to all of us in the company and not just sales. So it has been challenging, it has been frustrating, but it's also been fun watching that evolution. And it's not just because of me, it's because people got on board, they saw what needed to be done to grow in this space, and we really have taken off in this space.
So much so that Craig's role has now expanded to head of sales for all life and annuity distribution, a role he took on in summer of 2023. And Craig credits Nailba for much of his success.
It's in my DNA, it's in my blood, that without Nailba, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. That doors would not have opened if I could not network with so many important people that impacted my life positively.
It's why he's supported Nailba for decades, having served on the board and as a past chair. And all that insight has given him perspective on the future. Like many, he sees the problem of fewer young people coming into the business.
You just don't see that as much anymore. There are few out there. So that is a huge concern.
But there's also what he calls the next wave in the industry.
Then you have what I call super aggregators. You have the Integrity Marketing, the Simplicity, the Life, and others they're acquiring agencies left and right. As they aggregate and they bring their data together and they start mining all the data from all of these agencies. And with artificial intelligence now, they're going to be able to dissect that information and predict the buying trends.
And Craig intends to be part of it.
I want to go out on top. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this. If I didn't have the fire, I wouldn't be doing this.
We are going to take just a short break. Don't go anywhere. There's more Brokerage in Motion coming up.
What happens if you ever need to miss work for a long period of time?
Why would I miss work?
I don't know. You could sprain your ankle, throw out your back.
Get hit by a school bus.
Or a regular bus.
Get kicked by a horse.
Fall off a ladder.
Bathtub mishap.
Polio.
Boating accident.
Stuck by a fork.
Rabies.
Wolves.
Scurvy.
Talk to us about disability income insurance today. Feel comfortable about tomorrow. Mass Mutual.
Right now, I am joined by the president of brokerage and executive vice president at Finseca, Dan LaBert. So, Dan, how are we looking for Nailba 42? How is everything shaping up with attendance and sponsors and exhibitors? And short, who's going to be there?
Exciting. That's how we're looking. I mean, I've been doing my IMO tour, as I always joke, and plenty of people are saying, and there's a wow factor with who are the keynotes, and we'll jump into those. But, we're talking 80 plus exhibitors, hundreds of BGA representatives, both leaders and support teams, hundreds of carrier teams, InsurTech. The place is going to be loaded, jam-packed. We're already close to a sellout. So we are ready to go for another phenomenal Nailba annual meeting.
Yeah, you mentioned keynotes. Let's talk about them. Who's going to be on the main stage of this year?
Well, my goodness. So we've already discussed previously Molly Bloom. She's sponsored by Performex. If you're looking to elevate your game, her story is just unmissable. We got Chris Voss, who's sponsored by Pacific Life, New York Times bestseller. I'll tell a great story on the stage about how I tried to negotiate with the world's best negotiator. More recently, we introduced Andy Buckley. Now, we've had his name a number of times before, but we're finally getting him to come. Obviously, he was on The Office. He was a CFO on The Office. He's a certified financial planner in real life, in addition to his acting career. And he's sponsored by North America, and that'll be part of the Moores Award dinner. And of course, the Golden Bear, Jack Nicklaus, sponsored by John Hancock. I mean, we have a golf audience. Katie, I figured that since I got my way last year with Joe Montana and my manhood crush, I might as well achieve like all of the audience and their golf crush with bringing in the legend, Jack Nicklaus. So keynotes are, once again, just at a whole other level.
Totally phenomenal. And Nailba 42 is actually adding a list of breakout sessions this year as well. Can you go through those?
Yep, just hit on a few of them because there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
But the impact of rising rates on products, I mean, that's being presented by the one, the only Bobby Samuelson. So that room will be packed. LIMRA and Nailba inside the intermediary 3.0. This is really about what advisors want for brokerage, from brokerage, with brokerage. Of course, we have another one from LIMRA, the LIMRA EY Experienced Financial Professional Study. This is just going to be your compass for moving forward. The times are changing, long-term care. What is going on? The landscape is crazy. And then, we need to talk, right? Unlocking optimal agent experience and a speedier policy sales through improved communication. So those are just a handful of the professional developments. There's 3 or 4 more solution sessions coming in. You guys are going to be excited to hear about Grail. Just remember that name, Grail. But we have a phenomenal Nailba 42 coming up just around the corner.
It really is exciting. Now, finally, last year had some really popular sessions, and this was discussing future of the IMO, even a larger discussion on mergers and acquisition activity. So how are we going to top that this year?
Katie, I'm not even here right now. This is fake. I'm all about AI. This is a generated image. I'm just kidding. No, we're actually have a panel discussion on AI and ChatGPT, what's going on, how it applies to brokerage. There will be takeaways for distribution from this session, but we're bringing in the people who have been working on it for years. We also have a great opening session from Rick Van Ben Schoten. Say that 3 times. But Rick is the chair of Finseca. He has a phenomenal story about Lennox Financial, how they diversified revenue and just grew their firm, their agency to a level of just significant high net worth. So we have a great main stage, a great number of breakouts. The place is going to be full. It's Hollywood, Florida. There's not a better backdrop. The only thing that's missing is us, and we'll get there soon.
Yes, it's right around the corner. So safe travels to you and everyone that's going to be down in Hollywood, Florida, and always great and helpful information. Dan, thanks so much. That is going to do it for this episode of Brokerage in Motion. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
This episode of Brokerage in Motion is brought to you by Mass Mutual Strategic Distributors. Meet client needs with diverse solutions designed for flexibility, protection, and growth. MMSD is built for your business.